Hello, and welcome to another episode of Creating Powerful Impact. I'm your host, Shay Wheat, founder of Grace and Ease Productions, where we support entrepreneurs just like you with event-based marketing and sales strategies, allowing you to build your authority, your credibility, and your visibility in your industry. And today I'm excited to introduce you to our guest today that as somebody that is going to support in the visibility as well as, well, frankly, the authority and the credibility side too of your business. We have the amazing Jyotsna, if I'm saying that correctly, she's going to correct me, aka JR, who is a best-selling author, book publisher, TEDx speaker, and an international author success coach who helps coaches, trainers, speakers, and experts build a super profitable author funnel, which I love because I'm all about creating powerful impact and powerful impact that is creating a profit, right? She's also on a mission to elevate the consciousness of humanity, one book at a time, by helping visionary leaders convert their messages into best-selling books in the easiest way possible, which is fantastic because as entrepreneurs, we are busy and we got a lot of things happening. So far, she has helped over 1,000 authors globally through her global publishing agency, Happy Self-Publishing. Please help me welcome JR to the Creating Powerful Impact stage. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Shay. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you. Okay, officially pronounce your name for us.
My name is Jyotsna.
Jyotsna. It's
And you,
very
and you pronounced it perfectly. Thank you.
yeah. Okay. I mean it's super important, right? Like it's your name. It's the thing that you hear the most, and I want to do my best to pronounce everybody's name the way it's supposed to be pronounced, right? So good. I'm glad.
Thank you.
So I want to chat with you a little bit about like we're all about creating impact, right? And those of like my clients that are running and producing events with me, a lot of them have a book, have thought about a book, are considering doing a book. I know a book would be really super important for my business. It would help leverage things, it would help bring in the visibility. So I'm super excited to have you here today because I would love for you to share a little bit about we're all busy entrepreneurs, right? And when we start our business, we have like this soul's calling.
Yeah.
How can we and why should we consider utilizing a book to support us in growing our business and even yet creating more impact in the world with our message?
This is such a great foundational question, Shay, because if the why is strong, the book was going to happen. If the why is not strong, it's just going to be another fancy item on your bucket list, and people never finish it because something else takes priority. Maybe they want to host their next event. Maybe they want to launch their podcast. So that's why the book keeps getting postponed. But if the why is very strong, then it is definitely possible to become an author in 6 months or less. So the main why, in my opinion,
Wait,
is
hold on. Let's go back. In 6 months or less?
yes,
Really like writing it, publishing it, getting into the world in 6 months.
absolutely. If you follow the right steps, it is possible. A lot
Huh.
of people try doing it on their own. They do a lot of trial and error, which wastes a lot of time, which is why some people take years. But if you feel that you're not an expert at doing this because you've not done it before, and you work with the right set of people who are there to guide you and support you and handhold you, then I don't think it needs to take more than 6 months, especially if it's a business book.
Yeah, right. Well, and it's focused on your expertise. So really
Right.
it's pulling out your expertise. And if you honestly, if you have it set up proper, like we end up teaching for the events, is it's all based on your high ticket offer, right? If we were to break down your high ticket offer and then you end up doing your event that leads into your high ticket offer, you end up doing many events that lead into your high ticket offer, you end up writing the book that leads into your high ticket offer. If you set it up properly, then all roads lead to your high ticket offer and it's the content you're already teaching.
Right. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Okay. So how is it that you even get started? Like, why would you want to use this as a client attraction tool?
So basically, people look up to authors. There is a perception that authors are experts, authors are intelligent, they are thought leaders. So you may have other platforms to showcase your expertise. You may be running a webinar, your social media may be on point, but when you also have a book, you are considered to be the number one level of thought leadership. I say that there are 4 levels in thought leadership these days. Level 4 is where everybody is. Everybody posts on social media. They have some ideas and opinion to share. So everybody is a thought leader in that way, but that is level 4. Level 3 is where you do it consistently. Maybe you have a YouTube channel or a podcast and you put out content consistently, and that creates an impact in your followers' mind and they start looking at you more seriously. That's level 3. Level 2 is where you structure it in a way that helps people get results in the form of a course, in the form of a speech on stage. You have a structure, you have a training program maybe for 3 days, or a signature talk, and that makes you a level 2 thought leader. But the book is undoubtedly, in my opinion, the level 1 of thought leadership, because this is something that is, first of all, very easy to buy. It's like $20 or less. So it's a no-brainer for somebody to buy it if your topic resonates with their number one problem. And it's going to be on their table. It's not like a business card or a brochure that they're going to dump it in the trash. It's going to be on their table, even if they don't read it instantly. Mm-hmm. So that way, I think the book is great for somebody to get introduced to your ecosystem. Once they read your book, they are part of your author funnel now. They may then start subscribing to your newsletter. They may start following you on social media. They may attend your events. And ultimately, if you have any high-end program like your one-on-one coaching or your done-for-you services, people may end up buying it. But the book is a great way for people to just get into your ecosystem.
I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I just bought a book this morning personally, and it wasn't even the whole book. It was just like the shipping, right? Knowing that it's like, because they want my email address, but the book itself was fascinating and something that I'm wanting to move into. The bonuses alone was totally worth the $5, whatever shipping charge or something like that, right? I don't even think it's being shipped. I think it's actually all virtual, to be honest. Right. Mm-hmm. So there's like so many ways that you can utilize it to get the book in somebody's hands. But really, it is that low entry to your world. Right. But yet you're still teaching a lot of the things along the way that you're already teaching. So it's just bundling it in a new way for somebody brand new to enter your space. Absolutely. And if you have it structured like that, shoot, who wouldn't spend $5, $15 to, start learning about a certain topic that you're already an expert in?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's so tangible, right? You can feel it. And that makes a lot of difference.
I agree. Well, and I mean, it's a great gift. So I have clients that will utilize their book. So instead of getting like a speaking fee to speak on somebody else's stage, they'll be like, how many people are in your audience? 100? How about you just buy 100 of my books and give that away? Like, so then you're giving value add to the audience. The host is like, oh my God, I'm giving a gift to my audience. I don't have to pay you a speaker fee, but they're getting something valuable, right? So some people call it like a glorified business card, but hey, why not? Like, people are going to consume it.
And
a business card they'll throw away.
Yeah, if it's going to be valuable, if they can get one small win by reading your book, then you've created a lasting impact on their lives. And after the event, they're going to carry a part of you to their home, which is, I think, super valuable. And I've seen a lot of my clients, even if they're not yet speakers, they have their list of dream clients. In the past, they would send a cold email to a prospect and they would never get a reply. But now I've seen people ship their book for free to their ideal client and get that first meeting appointment. And now that person is already flipped through your book, so they know that you're an authority. And the way that meeting goes is much better than just sending a cold email to a lead. So a
Yeah, it's a
lot
lot
of
of
people have
work.
used this to get that first meeting done with their prospective client.
Yeah, our client just ended up doing that. Like they had a series of 3 or 4 things that they mailed. So
Mhm.
they work with medical doctors, right? And they help medical doctors grow their practice from a business perspective. And so they sent them the book and they sent them another gift and they sent them, so it's like warming them up to go, who is this
Right.
person that's sending me all of these things? And
Amazing
I mean,
stuff.
just flip through the book and you're like, oh, if I just implement that one thing and get an
Mhm.
ROI, by the time that you call up, they're like, okay, so I did that one thing that you suggested and it made me X. Tell me more what else that you got going on.
Right.
Oh,
Absolutely.
beautiful. So, okay, I get the concept and I see the success that my clients are having. For those of us that are like, okay, I get it. I understand that I need it. Okay, it's going to take me 6 months to do it. Where do I even start? Like, what really constitutes a book that really will intrigue people, will hook people, will bring them in, and essentially become a lead generator for me?
Yeah. So first thing I think is it's really important to understand that you need to write the book on the right topic, because as an expert who has probably 15, 20 years of experience, you know a lot of different things about your industry. But picking that one right topic can make a huge difference, because the book has to be the fastest solution to your ideal client's most pressing problem, right? So if they are stuck at step 2, your book should just help them with that step 2. Don't take them to step 10 yet. When they work with you one-on-one, you can handhold them through that step number 10. But your book should only be talking about the most important problem that they have in their mind, the perceived problem in their minds. Choosing the book's topic is, I think, the number one thing that any authors should do. Because if you end up writing the book on the wrong topic, then it's not going to give you the results that you're hoping for. So being absolutely clear on the purpose of why you're writing the book, choosing the right topic, and understanding who your target reader is. In my opinion, the target reader is the exact same person as the sole client or the ideal client for your business. If you're an entrepreneur who's writing a book to grow your business. If you're writing a poetry book just to feel happy, then it's a totally different thing altogether. But if you're writing to grow your business, then your ideal reader is the same person as your ideal client. So
Yeah.
I think having clarity on this foundation, on the topic, the reader, and your purpose is the most important starting point.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to if your high ticket offer is the same as when you're doing your webinars or your 3-day events. It's the same as when you're doing your talks. It's the same as your book. It's the same person throughout. We're just introducing like little appetizers, so to speak, to get them more and more into your world. And would you suggest that if they've got the framework, let's say it's the 10 steps or whatever is the whole framework, do you introduce that in the book and then just go deep in step 1 and step 2? Or how do you suggest
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. Especially when I work with coaches, most coaches who have more than 5 years of practice have kind of figured out their structure already, the framework for their coaching program. I think it's a nice thing to talk about it in the book. You don't have to make the entire book about the coaching system, but it's important to introduce that, because when you mix your stories, basically the case studies, your personal transformation, these are the stories, right? That will hit the right brain of your reader. They will get emotionally engaged in the book. But you should also target the left brain of the reader. They need to know the strategy. They need to know that your framework has these 5 steps which can help them. Now, how deep you need to go is totally up to the author. Some people write this encyclopedia, which I do not recommend, because that would overwhelm the reader and they're not going to take any action. But instead, just go a little deep in all these 5 steps or whatever you have, and pique their curiosity, give them that one small win, and then throughout the book, talk about your next steps. Like, in my 3-day coaching program, this is what happens. In my 5-day retreat, these are the results that people have got. And then most importantly, have a lead magnet. We call them a reader magnet. Have the reader magnet in the book so that you show the paths that a person has to take after reading your book. Otherwise, even though your book may be great, people would read it and forget about the author because they get busy with their next thing on their calendar. But if you hook them using a reader magnet, which is also valuable for sure, then people would have a reason to leave their name and email, and then you welcome them into your universe. You start sending them emails. You maybe send them a series of 5 videos where they can now see you and trust you more, and then you encourage them to follow you on whichever social media platform you want. So that's how you slowly warm these people, and then after a while you start selling your low ticket and then your middle level and higher level or whatever. But without, this is the number one mistake people make, especially when people publish using traditional publishing houses, because the traditional publisher is not interested in improving your business. They just want the book to sell. But when you are self-publishing it, you have the freedom and the flexibility to have a cool reader magnet in the book and spread it across the book. Like, just don't have it in one place and assume that people will join your email list. It won't happen. People will miss it. So have it in the beginning of the book, have it in the end, and also have it in the right places in the middle of the book so that people don't miss out on your free bonus.
Now, is there like a formula or anything? Well, let me back up. One, you just kind of laid out the funnel, right? Essentially, of you're utilizing the book as a lead or, essentially it's a lead magnet, but you're teaching them pieces. And then within that, you're having call to actions where they're taking action to get the downloadable. So if you're, explaining this certain thing on a spreadsheet that they need to do for their next steps, it's like, well, here, just go here and download it, right?
Yeah.
And so you're bringing them into your world to then move them through your funnel, which I love. The second piece, is it a right or wrong if you have a book that's like, I don't know, 30 pages long versus 100 pages long versus 500 pages long?
So more than the page count, I think word count is a better measure for authors, because you don't know how many pages it's going to be. It's totally in the hands of the formatter who's later going to format your book. But what's in your control is the word count. So in my opinion, for a book that's based on your expertise, 30,000 words is a good sweet spot. Anything that's like 15,000 or less would look like a booklet when it's formatted. So people won't take you seriously. And anything that's like above 50,000 words is going to look like too thick, and people will get overwhelmed and they may not end up reading the book. But when you target 30,000 words, it can easily get translated to 150 to 200 pages when it gets formatted. And that's something that anybody can read over a weekend. And I think that is what is selling well these days. So I think that should be your target. But then again, don't get too tied up with the word count, because that overwhelms a lot of people and it stops them from even writing. So just have that as a goal, but just have it somewhere in the back of your mind, but just go ahead and start writing. And again, just writing doesn't work for everybody. From my experience, I've worked with different types of authors. For some people, when they have their goal in front of them, they know they have a speech coming up in 3 months. They put their heart and soul into the book project and they finish writing in 2 months and they get it published in the third month. This works for some people, but not for all. So those people who write on their own without extrinsic support, I call them creators. They are natural at creating things. So that's one author archetype. But there are 3 other archetypes. Would you like me to elaborate on them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the second archetype is that of a collaborator. Now, these are typically first-time authors who are not yet ready to write an entire book all by themselves, but they're good at collaborating with others. So let's say you want to write a book on how entrepreneurs should start leveraging their own events, and there are 10 other people in the event business who are doing similar things like you, but not the exact same thing. You could just ask each of them to contribute one chapter to the book. So that way, you would just write one chapter, maybe the introduction and the conclusion and another chapter, but there are other people who are also experts who can add value to the book. So that's a collaboration book, and that works really well for somebody who loves to collaborate with others and who's not yet ready to write a full-length book. The third author archetype is that of a catalyst. A catalyst is someone who needs an external catalyst to get into action. So these people should not be writing on their own. They should work with an author coach. An author coach would be by your side by just getting on calls every week, help you through the process of outlining your book, will make sure that the topic that you've chosen is right for your target readers. And they will hold you accountable week on week. They will read what you've written, give feedback. And that's a great method for somebody who feels that they cannot do this on their own. So they should be working with an author success coach. The fourth and the final archetype, which is very common, especially if you're an entrepreneur, is that of a curator. A curator is someone who's great at curating ideas. They know what exactly should go into each chapter, but they're either too busy running their business and they don't have the time, or they're very aware that writing is not their superpower. They would rather outsource it to somebody else who can write it for them. But here's the thing, you don't need to work with a ghostwriter. A ghostwriter is somebody who will just take your topic, do their writing, and send back the manuscript. But I don't favor that option. Instead, because you want this book to be your book, you should be working with an angel writer. An angel writer is like a podcaster. They would do a series of interviews with you based on your book's outline, and they would extract all the lovely information that you have in your head, and they will write it for you without losing your voice and tone and stuff like that. So that way, it's still your book, but you're just seeking the help of an angel writer to complete the writing for you. So once you understand which of these four archetypes you belong to, it's much easier to go ahead and figure out what's the support you need to get the project done rather than struggling on your own.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, fantastic. So let me ask you this. Um, what are your thoughts on AI in writing books?
Yeah, this is such an important topic to discuss because all of us use AI in some way, shape, or form in our day-to-day business operations. And authors have also started thinking about why not use a tool that will just help me write a book in a few hours? Why should I even wait for 6 months, right? So, let me take you back in time. About 8 years ago, before I started Happy Self-Publishing, I just got into book publishing because I thought it's a great passive income tool. You could just put out books quickly on Amazon. Back in the day, even if your book was 5,000 words long, people would still buy. And you can just make a lot of royalties on the side. And that was my business model. I didn't work with other authors. I would just find these cool trending topics on the internet. I would find ghostwriters who had no clue about the topic, just like me. They would go to, back then, because we didn't have AI, they would do Google search. They will find 10 articles about the same topic. They would read those articles, take the best information, compile it in the form of a book and publish it. I would not know how valuable it is. They won't know whether it's good information, but we would publish books that way, thinking that it's helping people. It really worked for me for 6 months because I actually started making money off of those books. But 6 months later, I started getting negative reviews, one negative review after the other, because a lot of information was not 100% tried, tested. They were not authentic. People started picking errors from the book, and people would not forgive you if there are mistakes in your book, right? And that's how I started getting one-star reviews. And then I had to just completely shut down that business model. And luckily for me, I wrote a book on my own called Escape Plan. That was the first book I wrote. And that book started getting me a lot of traction. People loved it. They started writing to me on how amazing it is to help them get the courage to leave their jobs that they hated. And once I started getting some success out of that book, it was even published on Inc.com as one of the top 10 business books of 2015. And then real authors started reaching out to me saying that, hey, we liked your book. Can you help me as well to publish my book? And that's how I started Happy Self-Publishing. So coming back to the topic of AI, it's very similar to the ghostwritten books I wrote back in the day.
Mm.
It's there, it's a book, but it has nothing to do with the author's core message or their story. So I feel that AI is a tool, and it should just be used as a tool to help you with ideas. So what we do at Happy Self-Publishing is, if an author is stuck with not knowing a good title for the book, we help them by asking ChatGPT for ideas. Or if they've created some kind of a chapter outline and it doesn't feel organic, we run through a tool to just give them more ideas. That's okay. But just outsourcing the whole project to an AI tool is is going to be very shabby, because now even publishers and distribution platforms like Amazon are checking if the book has been written by AI or has it been written by a real person. So I definitely feel that use AI as a tool, but don't replace the human element.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think it makes more sense to have like your angel writers, is that what you call them?
Yeah.
To like pull the information out of you and
Mhm.
then write it, and then you kind of like spot check it and everything else, and then use the AI, like you said, as a tool, as an assistant, so to
Yeah.
speak, to give you the headlines that are catchy and will draw people in, and give it to me in this kind of a language, or this kind of a tone or whatever, right? Because your brain
Sure.
just might be dead at that moment.
Right.
And it kind of like jump starts you. I love that. JR, we could probably just continue on and on this conversation, but I would love for you to share with our audience, what is the best way that people can stay in touch with you? Maybe if they wanted to learn more about the archetypes, do you have a gift for them there, or another gift if they are like, I already know I want to write a book, like, let's just get going, JR.
Yeah, absolutely. So if somebody is curious on knowing what their author archetype is, we have an amazing quiz. It just takes about 2 minutes. It'll clearly tell you what your author archetype is and what should be your next step. So I'm going to share the link for that. Please have it in the show notes. The other gift that I want to share is for those people who are clear that they want to write a book, but they're not sure what should be their book's topic. Because as I said, if you don't choose the right topic, then you end up spending so much of time and it's not going to be fruitful. So we have a nice training video called Topic Selection Formula. This is especially for those who are writing a book based on their expertise. So go check out that video as well to be 100% sure that you're choosing the right topic. And if there are people out there who want to just brainstorm some ideas with me, then you can head over to happyselfpublishing.com/call to book a book strategy call with me.
Perfect. All right. So we will definitely have those links in the show note. Check out your archetype, get the videos, get that topic right. I love it. Last question for you. What is a takeaway or a memorable note you'd like to leave our audience with today?
I think the one thing that I would like to tell your audience is don't wait to become an expert, because a lot of people that I've met, I know that they're amazing at what they do. They've been giving some great results for their clients and their followers. And they know that they want to be writing a book at some point, but they feel that they're not an expert yet to share their message. And that feeling comes from a place where they think that they have only one book to contribute to this world. And that should happen 20 years later when they have done everything that they want to do. And now they want to leave a legacy in the form of a book. Of course, you can write a book 20 years later also, but before that, you can write 10 other books to help people at different stages in your journey. Because I feel that at any point of time in your life, there will be people who are ahead of you, who are the go-to experts in your industry, but there will also be people who are just at the first step. And for those people who are just a few steps behind you, your message, your story will be more relatable than the number one person in your industry. So in order to serve them, I think if you are somebody who's already helping others, if you have achieved some transformation in your life, then you are more than qualified to go ahead and write your book. So please don't wait till you become the number one expert.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I want to thank our audience for joining us on another episode of Creating Powerful Impact. I'm excited for you to take all of these lessons and all of these resources that you've learned here, start implementing them, and create even more impact in your world. Until next time, thank you so much for listening to the Creating Powerful Impact podcast. If you are a successful coach, speaker, author, or thought leader who would like to be on this program, simply visit creatingpowerfulimpact.com/guest. If you are someone who got something out of this interview, would you please do me a favor and share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on your socials. Also, if you know somebody that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag creating powerful impact. I love seeing all of your posts and great guest selections. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they really mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more about us? Head on over to our website, graceandeaseproductions.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. Just look for Grace and Ease Productions on your favorite platform. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.